Right. Exercise 21.1, question number 1. Write down the ratio for each of the following examples and express it in simplest form. First one, the number of boys in a class is 20 and the number of girls is 25. Right. So question number 1, part 1. So we have boys to girls. Right. So the number of boys are 20 to number of girls are 25. So this is a ratio. So we can divide both terms by what? 5. So 20 divided by 5, we get a 4. 5 divided by 5, we get a 5. So this will be the answer. Part 2. The price of a pen is 15 rupees. The price of a pencil is 10 rupees and the price of an eraser is 5 rupees. So we have pen to pencil to eraser, right? So price of a pen is 15 rupees to pencil 10 rupees to 5. So in this ratio we have 3 terms. So we can divide each term by 5. 15 divided by 5, we know that's a 3. 10 divided by 5, we know that's a 2. 5 divided by 5, we know that's a 1. So the ratio is what? 3 to 2 to 1. Right? So this will be the answer. Right, part 3. The ingredients for a cake are 1 kilogram of flour, 500 grams of sugar and 500 grams of margarine. Right? So we have flour to sugar to margarine. So we have 1 kilogram of flour now. So other ingredients are given to us in grams. So we know 1 kilogram, that is equal to 1000 grams now. Right? So we will write the amount of flour in grams. So it will be 1000. So sugar, that is 500 grams. Margarine, that is also 500 grams. Okay. So we have 3 terms. So first of all, I will divide each term by 100. So this becomes a 10. This becomes a 5. This becomes a 5. Then I will divide each of these terms by 5. So this becomes a 2. This is 1 and this is 1. So the ratio is what? 2 to 1 to 1. So there's another way also, right? So if we consider the terms 1000, 500 and 500, right? So we can divide each of these terms by what? 500. Then we can get at once the answer or the simplified version of this ratio at once as 2 to 1 to 1, skipping this step. Anyway, whichever method you have used, right, the simplest form should be this. Part 4. The price of a mandarin is P rupees, simple P rupees. The price of an orange is simple Q rupees. And the price of an apple is simple R rupees. Right. So we have mandarin, then we have orange, then we have apple. Now the prices are given to us as what? Algebraic terms, no? So we can write P to Q to R. This is the simplest form. Question number 2. Exercise 21.1. For each of the following ratios, write down 2 equivalent ratios. Right? So part 1. So we have 2 to 3. So when we have to write down equivalent ratios, simply what do we have to do? So this ratio, it has 2 terms now, right? So we have to multiply both terms by the same number. So that number should be a whole number. So the answer depends on the whole number that you have used, right? So I will multiply the first term and the second term by what? 6, right? So 2 into 6, it will be what? 12. 3 into 6, it will be what? 18. So we need to write 2 equivalent ratios now. So I will multiply the first term for the second equivalent ratio. I will multiply the first term and the second term by what? 25. So 25 into 2, it becomes what? 50. And 3 into 25, what is that? 75. Right. Part 2. So I have 6 to 5 to 7. So I will multiply this ratio by 4. So 6 times 4, what is that? 24. 5 times 4, what is that? 20. 7 times 4, what is that? 28. So for the next equivalent ratio, I will multiply this ratio by 6. So 6 into 10, that is 60. 5 into 10, that is 50. 7 into 10, that is 70. Right. So for this ratio, I will multiply the first term by 20. So 1 into 20, that is 20. 4 into 20, that is 80. 5 into 20, that is 100. So for the next ratio, I will multiply each of the terms by 50. So 1 into 50, 50. 4 into 50, 200, right? 5 into 50, that is 250. Question number 3. Express each of the following ratios in its simplest form, right? So part 1, we have 12 to 18. So I can divide each of these terms by 3. So 12 divided by 3, I get a 4. 18 divided by 3, I get a 6. So further I can simplify. I can divide both of these terms by what? 2. So 4 divided by 2, I get a 2. 6 divided by 2, I get a 3. Right. So second part of that question. So this ratio has 3 terms. Okay. So I will divide by 7. 28 divided by 7, I get a 4. 70 divided by 7, I get a 10. 42 divided by 7, I get a 6. Now I can divide each of these terms by 2. 4 divided by 2, I get a 2. 10 divided by 2, I get a 5. 6 divided by 2, I get a 3. So 2 to 5 to 3. Right. So part 3. So this ratio has 3 terms. So I can divide each of them by 25. 25 divided by 25, I get a 1. 100 divided by 25, I get a 4. 125 divided by 25, I get a 5. Right. Question number 4. The sides of a triangle are 7 centimeters, 50 millimeters and 6 centimeters and 5 millimeters. Find the ratio of the lengths of the sides and express it in the simplest form. First of all, we need to understand that when we are doing calculations regarding ratios, right? All the terms must be in the same unit, right? So here we have centimeters, millimeters, centimeters and also millimeters. So the very first thing that we need to do is convert all these 3 units into a 1 unit, right? So I will take this as A to B to C, right? So we will convert all of these measurements into millimeters, right? So 7 centimeters, when we convert this into millimeters, what do we have to do? 7 into 10, no? So this becomes 70 millimeters, right? So this is 70 millimeters. To 50 millimeters, it is already given to us in millimeters, so we don't have to do any conversions. Right, so now we will take 6 centimeters and 5 millimeters, right? And I will erase this up. So we have to convert this entire measurement into millimeters. So we don't have to do any conversions to the millimeter part. We only have to do the conversion to the 6 centimeter part. So 6, we have to multiply that by 10. So we get 60 millimeters. To that, we have to add 5 millimeters, right? So we get what? 65 millimeters. So C will be what? 65. millimeters. Right, so now we will write down the ratio. So as we can see, the three terms are converted to the same unit. So we will write ignoring the units, right? So 72, 52, 65. Now we will divide all three of them by 5. So this becomes 14 to, this becomes what? 10 to 13. So this is the answer. Exercise 21.2. Question number 1. 1500 rupees was divided between Sumudu and Kumudu in the ratio 2 to 3. Find the amount each received. Right. So we have Sumudu and we have Kumudu. Right. So what is the ratio? 2 to 3. So what is the total number of parts? 2 plus 3, no? So the total number of parts are what? 5. That means out of 5 equal parts, even though this is just a number 5, this means what? 5 equal parts. So out of 5 equal parts, 2 parts are Sumudus and the rest of the parts belongs to what? Belongs to whom? Kumudu. So here we need to calculate what? What is the value of one part? If the total number of parts are equal to what? Right? We are dividing 1500 to a ratio, no? That means the total value is equal to 1500. Right? So we take this number and we divide it by 5. Right? So Sumudu gets 2 parts, Kumudu gets 3 parts. That means how do we calculate the value of one part? Simply take 1500 and divide it by 5. So what will be the value? 300 rupees. In this case these are rupees, no? So this value will be what? Rupees. So this is the value of one part. How many parts are Sumudu getting? 2. So what will be the amount that Sumudu gets? Simply take the value of one part, multiply it by number of parts, which is what? 2. So 300 into 2, we get 600 rupees. Then when we talk about Kumudu, right? How many parts does she gets? 3. What is the value of one part? 300. So 300 into 3, we get what? 900 rupees. So that will be the answer. Right. Question number 2. Copper is added to gold in gold jewelry such that the ratio of copper to gold is 1 to 11. Find the mass of gold and copper needed to make a necklace of mass 60 grams. Right. So we have what? Copper to gold. So what is the ratio? 1 to 11. What is the total parts? Here we have 1, here we have 11. So simply we have to add those two together. So we get 12. Right. So that means out of 12 equal parts, one part is copper, and out of 12 equal parts, 11 parts are gold. Right? Right. So here what do we have to do? We have to calculate the mass of copper and gold of a necklace which has a mass of 60 grams. So here we need to calculate the value of one part. So total number of parts are what? 12. So what is the value of one part? 60. We have to divide it by 12. So we get 5. What are these? We have divided grams, no? 60 grams. So here the answer is also what? 5 grams. Right. So what is the amount of copper here? How do we find it? Value of one part. So this is copper. So value of one part, which is 5 grams, we have to multiply that by what? Number of parts. So regarding copper, that will be 1. So 5 grams into 1, that is 5 grams. So what is the amount of gold? we can do this calculation, or what else we can do? The total amount is what? 60, no? 60 grams. From that, we can subtract the amount of copper, right? So it will be 55 grams. Or simply if we follow the first method, what is the value of one part? 5 grams. We need to multiply that by number of parts, which is 11. So we get what? 55 grams. Right, question number 3. The ratio of boys to girls in a school is 5 to 4. Right? So we have boys to girls. Right? So that is 5 to 4. If the total number of students in the school is 1,800. 1,800. This is the total number of students. Huh? Find the number of boys and the number of girls that are in the school. Right. So what is the total number of parts? 5 plus 4. So we get a 9. So from 9 parts, 5 are what? Boys. And from 9 parts, 4 are what? Girls. Right? So here, just as before, we have to calculate the value of one part. So what do we have to do? Take 1,800 and divide it by the total number of parts, which is 9. So now imagine these are just numbers, huh? Right. So 1,800 divided by 9, we get what? 200. So that is the value of one part. So what is the number of boys? Value of one part, which is 200, we have to multiply that by what? Number of parts, which is 5. So we get what? 1,000. So the number of boys are what? 1,000. So if the number of boys are 1,000, what is the number of girls? 1,800. That is the total number of boys and girls, right? So we have to subtract 1,000 from it. So we get what? 800. Question number 4. A landowner divides his land of 1,800 square meters between his son and his daughter in the ratio 5 to 3. How much of the land does the son receive? Right? So we have the son and the daughter. Son and the daughter. So the ratio is what? 5 to 3. The ratio is 5 to 3. What is the total land amount? 1,800 square meters. Okay, so what is the total number of parts? 5 plus 3, that will be 8. Okay, so that means out of 8 equal parts, the son is receiving 5, and out of 8 equal parts, the daughter is receiving 3. So what is the value of one part? The total amount of the land is 1,800 square meters. We have to divide it by 8, right? So 1,800, we have to divide it by 8. So 8 times 1 and 8 times 2. And we get a 20. For 20, 8 times 2 is 16. So we get a remainder of 4. That means for 40, we get 5. So value of one part is what? 225. So these are square meters. Huh? Square meters. They are asking us to calculate the amount of land which is received by the son. Right? So how do we calculate it? We know the value of one part, which is 225. How many parts does the son receive? 5, no? So we simply have to multiply that by 5. Right? So 200 into 5, that is 1000. 25 into 5, that is 125. So altogether we get 1125 square meters. Right? And we need to find the amount of land the daughter receives also. Right? So what can we do? So this is the amount of land that the son receives now. Right? Which is 1125. So I will write it here. Right? So the total amount of land is what? 1,800. So the son receives 1,125 square meters of it. So the difference means what? The amount that the daughter receives. right? So simply we have to subtract this. So 1800 minus 1125. So 0 minus 5 we can't do. 10 minus 5, that's a 5. Here the remaining digit is 9. 9 minus 2, that's a 7. Here the remaining digit is 7. 7 minus 1, that's a 6. So the daughter gets 675 square meters. 675 square meters. Okay, so if we consider the usual method, how do we come up with the answer? Right? So the daughter, right? What is the value of one part? 225. How many parts does the daughter receive? 3 parts. So we have to multiply this by 3. So 200 into 3, we know that is 600, right? 25 into 3, that is 75. So when we add these together, we get what? 675. These are what? Square meters. Right? So I will write the answers again. So the son receives what? 1125 square meters, and the daughter receives 675 square meters. So those are the answers. Question number 5. Rice flour, sugar, coconut are mixed in the ratio 4:3:1 to prepare a certain sweet meat mixture. Find the mass of each ingredient in 2 kilograms of the sweet meat. Right. So what is the ratio? 4:3:1. So what is the total number of parts? 4 plus 3 plus 1, which is 8. So that means out of 8 equal parts, 4 parts are rice flour, and out of 8 equal parts, 3 parts are sugar, and out of 8 parts, 1 part, that is what? Coconut. Right. So what is the total mass of the mixture? 2 kilograms. So we will convert this into grams. So it will be 2000 grams. So the total number of parts are what? 8. So we have to calculate the value of one part. That means what? 2000 we have to divide it by 8. Right? So 8 times 1. So here 8 times 2, that is 16. 20 minus 16, we get a 4. So for 40, 8 times 5. So we get what? 250. So those are grams. So value of one part, that is what? 250 grams. So what is the mass of rice flour? How do we calculate it? What is the value of one part? 250. We have to multiply that by what? How many parts are there? 4. So we get what? 1000 grams. Right. So if we consider sugar, what is the value of one part? 250. We have to multiply that by what? Number of parts. So which is 3. So 250 into 3, what is that? 750 grams. Right. So the amount of coconut, what is the value of one part? 250. How many parts are there? 1. So this will be what? 250 grams. Right. So those are the answers. Question number 6. A high nutrient food item is made of green gram, soya and rice mixed in the ratio 2:1:3. Compute the amount of rice in a 840 gram packet of this food item. Right? So we have green gram. So what is the ratio? 2:1:3. So here what is the total number of parts? 2 plus 1 plus 3. So the total number of parts are what? 6. Right? So what is the mass of the packet? 840 grams. 840 grams. So we need to calculate the value of one part. Right? That means take 840. So we need to divide it by 6. So 6 times 1 and here 6 times 1. So we have a remainder of 2. So 24 divided by 6, that's a 4. Altogether 140. So these are grams. 140 grams. Right. So we need to calculate the amount of rice here. Right. So what will be the amount? What is the value of one part? 140 grams. How many parts are there regarding rice? 3 parts. So 140 into 3. 100 into 3, we know that's a 300. 40 into 3, that is 120. So when we add these together, we get 420 grams. So the answer is 420 grams. Okay, question number 7. The ratio of the high school students enrolled in the science, technology and art streams in a school is 3 to 5 to 7. If the total number of high school students in the school is 600, how many students are enrolled in the art stream? So what is the ratio? 3 to 5 to 7. So in any case, we will calculate the total number of parts. That means 3 plus 5 plus 7. 3 plus 5, that is 8. 8 plus 7, that is 15. So the total number of parts are 15. Right. If the total number of high school students in the school is 600. Right. So the total number of students are what? 600. How many students are enrolled in the art stream? Right. So here we have to calculate the value of one part. So take 600 and we will divide it by 15. Right. So 15 times 1, 15 times 40. So value of one part is what? 40. So what is the number of students enrolled to arts? We have calculated the value of one part. So it is 40. What is the number of parts related to arts? 7. So 40 into 7. We get what? 280. So 280 students enrolled into the art stream. Right. Question number 8. The ratio of length to breadth of a rectangular playground is 3 to 2. If its perimeter is 600 meters, find its length and its breadth. Right. So in this question, we have to be careful. Right. So we know when we talk about perimeter of a rectangle, when we talk about perimeter of a rectangle, what is that? Length plus breadth into 2. So here perimeter is what? 600 meters, that is given to us. Right? 2 times length plus breadth. So we can divide this side by 2. Do the same thing to the other side. So we get what? 300, that is equal to length plus breadth. So this is an equation, no? So I can flip the sides. I can switch the sides, right? So I can rewrite this expression as what? Length plus breadth, that is equal to 300. So this is really important. Why? Since we are talking about a perimeter, right? This is a ratio related question, no? So here we need to calculate the total number of parts. Right? So unlike the other questions, here the total number of parts should be equal to 300, not to 600. So I'm going to write length to breadth. Length to breadth. Right? So what is the ratio? 3 to 2. Now what is the total number of parts? 3 plus 2, which will be 5. So what is the value of one part? What is that? Not 600 divided by 5, but 300 divided by 5. So we will get what? 600. So these are meters. Then what will be the length? The value of one part, which is 60 meters, we have to multiply that by 3. 60 into 3, we get 180 meters. Breadth, value of one part is 60, we have to multiply that by 2. So we get 120 meters. So these are the 2 answers.